All right, I'm just going to go ahead and jump right in there before I give you anything to look at. First, I want to just give you a quick background on vTrainer. vTrainer is essentially a mentor simulator. It tries to give close to the experience of having both a mentor and the sweatbox without having either. Okay. There's some very good apps out there like ATC Pro that let you train for air control, but there's very little out there that I could find that would help me become a better ground controller. So I wrote it. Just jump right in there. It works with Radar Client, of course. So I'm just going to launch VRC right now just to get us going. And okay, so we don't have a service list. That's fine because we're not going to be connecting to the network. This whole point of vTrainer is to train without a mentor or a sweatbox or even a connection to the network. I'm going to be stressing that a lot. So we've got the Radar Client up, and of course we train it at Portland, so we've got Portland. And I'm just go ahead and launch vTrainer. And there it is. It's a single window. It was designed to fit in the space of the flight strip bay of vTrainer. It blends nicely. It's an over the top window, so it will stay floating. Not much to talk about until we start loading some aircraft. So, but before I do that, I want to slowly show you how we connect the Radar Client to vTrainer. Okay, and as I said, I'm being very specific about this. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a Connect dialog. And I just want you to look at this very closely. Okay, it says connect to VATSIM. We're not connecting to VATSIM. At no time does vTrainer ever connect to VATSIM. In fact, it doesn't even connect to a network at all. So, in fact, the call sign can be anything you want, real name, anything you want. Now, these two, the facility and the rating, do have to be ground and student, and that's only because VRC requires me to do that so I can use the features of VRC to control aircraft. Certificate ID has no meaning, and neither does password. And here's the most important part. I'm connecting to this private address, which is my machine. And when I say my machine, I do mean my machine, not across the network. So what's it going to connect to? Well, vTrainer is also a server. The app's running as an app, but it's also a server. So when it tries to connect, it will connect to vTrainer. So go ahead and do that. And if you look here in the lower left corner, vTrainer is up and gives its own sign-on message. Welcome to vTrainer. Please be advised that you're not connected to the VATSIM network. This is not a sweatbox session, even though it may look that way, and it's going to look that way, but it is not connected to VATSIM. Logins are not tracked, and no personal information is recorded. Okay, so pretty blank, a lot to look at, I know, especially that lower panel. If you want to talk about that, but let's go slowly. I'm going to load a starting file. Now, files that it loads are VTR files. You're not familiar with VTRs because they're vTrainer files. But essentially what they are is, they are, other than settings, they're also the list of the air file that you use now and the airport files that you use now. So all of your air files, all of your airport files, still untouched, can be used by vTrainer, and that was a design goal because I know you have a lot of those, and they're going to be needed for the student. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this vTrainer, and boom, we're in, and we have 4 aircraft. That's just simply 4 aircraft. Now, it's a lot to take in here. Doesn't look much different than when you're connected to the network, but you're not connected to the network. This is totally, entirely running on this machine that I'm recording this on. So even though it looks like it's on the network, it is not. All right. So immediately you're going to look at, let's take it step by step. Okay, so flight strips, you're used to seeing flight strips. These are a little different. These are flight progress strips, and they offer a lot more to the student than just a flight strip. Notice first that you're going to see things in red. One of the big problems with trying to become a controller is you've got a lot of things that are wrong with flight plans, and unless you know what to look for, they sneak up on you, and then they're already calling you. So it's nice that they turn in red. You can hover over them. Unknown airport. Okay, that's a typo. What's this one? Not a city. Okay, that's a typo. That's missing suffix, and this guy's VFR, and he's not VFR altitude. So we can fix those now, but that's, you know, something because we haven't started the request flow yet. Let's just take a look at a few things before I do that, though. Clicking on a flight strip, I get detail up the top. Now what's really nice about this is the information that vTrainer has internally to its own database. It actually has an internal database. It does not go out the network to get that database. It keeps it inside its own memory, and that database is huge. It's got about 1,800 aircraft, about 6,000 airlines, and yes, about 52,000 airports. So when I click on each of the flight strips, I'm looking those up. So that saves the pain and suffering of having to look up aircraft type, tail numbers, airlines, and destination airports. So so that's all very nice. So if you didn't know that a PA331 is indeed an Embraer Navajo, now you do, because it looks up for you. So in addition to being a virtual mentor, vTrainer also takes the workload off the students so they can focus on phraseology, timing, and separation. Okay. Enough about that. This middle panel in here, this is the information you obtain from a briefing, whether the method is contact or monitor, whether it's tower or departure. In fact, these are all loaded as part of the setup file. Your active runway, whether second runway is in use, transfer altitude on the SID or whatever you want to put up in here. These are just placeholders, okay? And of course, current information. Airport filter is something I was messing with if you wanted to control multiple airports, but we're going to stay here in Portland. So that's that. Let's move now to the bottom. The bottom is the big HUNA. That is the one that you are going to go, what the hell is that? Okay, so I bet you already know what this is. This is basically the way to move aircraft around. Now, to become a virtual mentor, the student's going to have to do some work, and the student's going to have to become the actual controller of the aircraft. But to do that, I've got a lot of buttons that lets them do them very quickly. So let's say if I wanted Georgian 7211 to just, of course I wouldn't do this because it requires, yeah, I could do it. In a taxi runway 18 via Charlie, okay? Very simple. Now, by just clicking 18 in Charlie, I now put the command that you're familiar with. I know these are reversed. I did that on purpose. I like this better than Tower Trainer. But these are the sentences that you're going to use. If I executed this now, I would be telling Georgian 7211 to taxi to, well, we want to via Charlie. I'm not going to do that. But you get the idea. I can, now what's going to be strange is there, of course, there's going to be pilot voices. And those pilot voices are my voice for now, because I didn't have anybody else record them. So when you hear the pilot talking, it's not me talking live. It's the recorded voice of the pilot. You'll get it right. So, if I say to Georgian 7211, so I'm going to just key the mics. Now, there's two indications of mic keying. There's the red here, that's a shift. I have that on my shift because that is my transmit to aircraft, and my control, which is my transmit to overlying controller. So between shift and control, because I don't want it to be any different than what you would do when you're really controlling. So, the way it works is you would give the aircraft the verbal information at the exact same time you would have to also click the execute. That's the way you would simulate being the mentor and the student at the same time. So if I key them, I say, Georgian 7211, good morning. I execute that. Good morning. And Georgian 7211 says, good morning. So all your dot commands and all of your Tower Trainer commands will appear here as things go along. So we're just going to give it a shot here. I'm going to open it up to requests. There's two modes. There's well, actually, there's two modes. Yes, there's two modes. One is where I can actually tell the aircraft what to do through flight progress here. And each of these cells, okay, I didn't actually go through that. I'll go through that now. Each of these cells represents flight progress, or the ground progress. So they're either requesting clearance, requesting pushback, requesting taxi. And as things move through, each aircraft will progress, and it's very nice to know which aircraft's calling and what they're requesting. So I'm just going to go ahead and open it up to the first request, and then I'm going to pause it, just so that we can talk about the request and the steps the student would take. So I'm just going to open that up.
Portland ground, Georgian 7211, clearance to Montreal.
All right, so now I'm going to pause it. So Georgian 7211, looking for clearance. So as you see first here, the first cell lights up to request the clearance. That's kind of nice. So you know who's calling you and what they're calling you for. So you can't edit in here. you actually have to go up to the PRC to actually do the editing. So for Jordan 7211, let's just fix their suffix here and amend that. And once I do that, boom, I fix it here. It does pick it up, and will now turn black, so the actual strip looks good. And then I'm going to assign the squawk right here. So it's good to go in terms of what he wants to do here. So I can just go ahead and give him the clearance and let him tell me he wants a taxi. Jordan 7211 cleared to Montreal International Airport, Portland for departure, radar vectors Burlington, then is filed, maintain 3000, departure frequency 119.75, squawk 1000. Okay, so I just gave him the clearance. It dropped it right into here. I click execute.
Jordan 7211 cleared to Montreal International Airport, Portland for departure, radar vectors Burlington, then is amended, maintain 3000, departure frequency 119.75, squawk 1000.
Jordan 7211, everybody's correct. Advise when you're ready to taxi.
Alright, we'll call you when we're ready, Jordan 7211.
Okay, so Jordan 7211's now if you look at Jordan 7211 on VRC, you see that they have squawked the correct code, and they are squawking Charlie. So it's communicating directly now with, of course, radar client, and is telling me in the green that is now up to Jordan 7211 to tell me what to do next. Now, because we have requests turned off, he's not going to call me back. So I'm just going to try to do some traffic management here, and we'll just see how it goes, because I actually do not know who is calling me next and what they want. So I'm just going to open it up to requests.
Portland ground, Delta 449, IFR to Albany.
Delta 449, clearance on request number 1. Alright, so I get Delta 449, assign the squawk. He's got a problem with this.
Portland ground, November 8, 110, ramp 2, ready to taxi with Bravo.
November 8, 110, Portland ground, clearance on request number 1. So I'm just going to pull him here, drop this out, and go ahead and amend that, and get...
Portland grounds is Delta 2400. We're looking for our clearance to Atlanta.
Delta 2400, clearance on request number 2. Alright, so Delta 449 now has a squawk code, it's ready to go, and I clear that mic. Delta 449, who cleared to Albany International Airport, has closed departure, Hannah, transition then as filed, maintain 3000, departure frequency 119.75, squawk 1001.
Delta 449 cleared in the Albany International Airport, Haskell to departure, Hannah transition, then is filed, maintain 3000, departure frequency 119.75, squawk 1001.
Delta 449, read correct, advise when you're ready to push.
Alright, we'll call you when we're ready, Delta 449.
Okay, so I'm going to pause here. So that's just the clearance there. And now next one was 8110 is VFR today. I'm going to fix this because he's VFR. So let me just give him a squawk, and should be good to go. Alright, I'll have to fix that right away. On November 8, 110, maintain VFR 2500 or below until advised. Departure frequency 119.75, squawk 1002.
Alright, November 8, 110, maintain VFR 2500 or below or until advised. Departure frequency 119.75, squawk 1002.
November 8, 110, that is correct. Runway 18, taxi via Charlie.
Runway 18 via Charlie, November 8, 110.
Okay, so 8110 is off and running. Interesting what's going on with the squawk code here. Didn't look like he squawked 1002. So we can fix that. We can say 1002. Actually, we'll do it squawk 1002. November 8, 110, squawk 1002.
Squawk 1002.
Okay.
November 8, 110.
There you go. So he's now squawking that, and I just can hand him off. November 8, 110, contact tower 120.9er.
Contact tower 120.90, November 8, 110.
Okay, so notice we've gone right through the whole process. It's now an X because he's done. I've handed him off, and I can literally delete the strip at this point. Alright, Delta 2400. Let's do Delta 2400. Get the squawk for Delta 2400. I'll fix his Atlanta problem here. It just was a typo. And I'll amend that. Boom, fixes that. Assign the squawk. And try that again. Okay, there we go. I actually hit the squawk twice, but that's okay. Alright, so let's give Delta 2400 clear to Atlanta International Airport. Number 3 departure to Barnes transition, then as filed. Maintain 3000, departure frequency 119.75, squawk 1004.
Delta 2400 cleared to Atlanta International Airport. Number 3 departure, Barnes transition, then is filed. Maintain 3000, departure frequency 119.75, squawk 1004.
Delta 2400, read back correct. Current information, Bravo, advise when you're ready to push.
Call you for the push, Delta 2400.
Okay, so they are now all in the position, ready to go, and I'm just going to open it up and request again.
Rolling ground, Georgian 7211, ready to taxi with information. Bravo.
He's a character. Okay, so we'll get Georgian 7211 going here. Georgian 7211, runway 18 via Charlie.
Runway 18 via Charlie, Georgian 7211.
Okay, so you see his taxi turns green, and he's now good to go, so I'll get him to hand off. Georgian 7211, contact tower 120.9.
Contact tower 120.9, Georgian 7211. See ya.
Alright, he's a character. So that's that takes there. It's out, gone, ready to go. I'm just not running in real time right now, just so I can do each one of these. One of the interesting things you can do is you can force a pilot request if you don't want it to open it up to real time. So I could say, oh, I'll just push back 449. So I just say,
on the ground, Delta 449, ready to push.
449, Delta 449, Portland. Go ahead, push approved.
Push approved, Delta 449.
Alright, so let's push approved on that guy, and now let's say if I opened it up here. Now with
on the ground, Delta 2400, we're ready for a push with information.
Delta 2400, give way to company on your right, pushing back is going to be taxiing, so stand by. So I just basically tell him, because I quite don't know really what to do here. I think he's just going to wait for 449 to request that taxi, and it will not request while he's pushing back, so he knows that he's pushing back, so he's not going to request taxi while he's pushing back.
Portland ground, Delta 449, ready to taxi with information. Bravo.
Alright, so let's do a taxi. We're going to hold short for 18 because run 8 is inactive, and away we go. Delta 449, runway 29er, taxi via Alpha, hold short runway 18.
Runway 29er via Alpha, hold short runway 18 for Delta 449.
Alright, so this would be a good, I'll give you a good example of a hand overline controller coordination. So, because we have to coordinate this crossing at runway 18. Let's say you're going to open this up while we're doing that, doesn't matter. 449 is for the push. Or 2400 ready for the push, I guess. Delta 2400 pushback approved.
Pushback approved, Delta 2400.
Tower ground crossing 18 Alpha with 1.
Cross runway 18 at Alpha approved, GG.
AE. Now notice here what it's done, it's put the crossing syntax for Delta 449, whoops, wrong one. Delta 449, so I can immediately turn right around and say Delta 449, cross runway 18 at Alpha.
Cross runway 18 at Alpha, Delta 449.
So that's nice. Now it's cross complete. Tower ground 18 at Alpha, cross
Full
complete.
on ground, Delta 2400, ready to taxi with information. Cross complete, GG. Bravo.
AE. Alright, let me hand off 449. Delta 449, contact tower 120.9er.
Contact tower 120.9, Delta 449.
Alright, let's deal with Delta 2400, 29er via Alpha, hold short runway 18. Okay, Delta 2400, runway 29er via Alpha, hold short runway 18.
Runway 29er via Alpha, hold short runway 18 for Delta 2400.
Okay, so you're basically getting the gist of how things are working here in Tower Trainer, and it's pretty darn realistic to me. I'm an S1, and I've gotten better. While he's doing this, let me show you something very cool. It is pretty freeform, so I can say Delta 2400, hold position.
Delta 2400, hold position.
So a lot of these other commands are supported. Eventually, you'll be able to put any aircraft anywhere you want. But there may not be a voice file for it, meaning like, so if I wanted to take Delta 2400 right now and say 18 via Charlie, let's just see if there's a voice file for it. I actually don't know. Delta 2400, runway 18, taxi via Charlie. Alright, so there's no voice file for it yet. And in another video, I'll show you how to create voice files. They're pretty easy. And once the application is out, you can create the WAV files, and you don't have to change anything about the app. And Delta 2400, hold position.
Delta 2400, hold position.
And I can issue, let's see if I can get him to go backwards now. Get him to 29 now. Alright, 29er via Charlie Alpha. Hold short runway 18. Delta 2400, runway 29er via Charlie Alpha, hold short runway 18. Okay, so I don't have a voice file for that because this is kind of a non-standard way of doing it. But all the taxiways are in there, and I think I've got almost all the combinations work. I just have to create voice files for all the combinations possible. So essentially, that's it. You can see the value. I've been working on this for a couple months now, and I think it's worth a lot to me for sure. I've become a lot better. Things that I couldn't do before, I can do now. Tower crossing 18 Alpha with 1.
Cross runway 18 at Alpha, approved, GG.
AE. Delta 2400, cross 18 Alpha.
Cross runway 18 at Alpha, Delta 2400.
Tower ground 18 Alpha, cross complete.
Cross complete, GG.
AE. Delta 2400, contact tower 120.9er.
Contact tower 120.9er, Delta 2400. See ya.
So there you go. That's vTrainer. And I hope you enjoyed it, and there'll be another video coming shortly. And let me know what you think. Thanks.